Well, hello, everyone, or like I like to say, hello, everyone who is watching. I'm
Right.
Dr. Kathy Koch, the founder of Celebrate Kids and Ignite the Family, here with friends of mine, Suzanne and Lane Phillips, who have been friends and colleagues and co-laborers. We became connected over mutual shared passion that children matter, and therefore parents matter and the family matters. I love that Lane and Suzanne believe what all of us believe at Celebrate Kids, and that is that students should be studied, children should be studied. I love to say that no one teaches math or science or even Bible, you teach children. And the more that you know about your children, the greater the likelihood that you're going to be able to really make an inroad into their belief system and their passions and attitudes and actions and all of that. And one of the things that we know has to be studied is our children in light of the future, right? You know, why are they who they are? Why did God wire them in his image the way that he did? And what is it that their future could be? And Lane and Suzanne have launched very successful young adults. You have one starting college in the fall as we're recording this, and one in college, one graduated entrepreneur, successfully married to boot, which is actually more important, isn't it, than the career piece. But all that is to say that you guys have walked this path with your kids of going beyond that K through 12 experience into what's next. And before I introduce them to what we're here talking about, you know, some of you who are watching have heard me speak about multiple intelligences, the book I wrote, 8th Grade Smarts. Some of you know that I teach often at Summit, talk to 16 and 25-year-olds, hundreds at a time. And I ask them, how many of you are unsure of your future? And the last time I did it, probably 80% of the young people raised their hand. I remember one young man, he like raised it as if it was going to shoot to the sky. So excited that someone was willing to acknowledge that it was okay that he didn't know.
Right.
And I love to say to kids, you know, the reason you don't know about your tomorrows is you're multi-talented, multifaceted, multi-passionate, multi-interested, multi-able. It's not that you're apathetic and twiddling your thumbs and you're unable to go somewhere. You don't know where to go and what to do, because there's so many places available to us now in the world, we think, and so many options that we can pursue. And so kids are dying under the weight of this, what looks like apathy to the grandparent, which isn't,
Right.
and the important decision for next steps. And so I've been interested in years, how do we help them? And you guys have come up with Envision Life Academy, part of this passion you have for the next steps. And we're going to look today at a product you have that I really pray parents, educators will land on here. It's called the Envision platform. And it's going to, all of you are listening, stay tuned, because it's going to help you understand how you can help your young people prepare for their next steps. You might have a freshman or a sophomore in high school, maybe a 15, 16-year-old you're homeschooling, wondering, what are the electives? What are the service projects my kids should participate in? You know, what is it that he could discover? Should he be taking some advanced courses or not? So it's never too early, right, to start thinking about post high school decision making. And so you're going to find out things about even ending high school well. You're going to learn about what can happen after that high school path has finished and preparing for the next phases. So this fits with Celebrate Kids. It fits with the uniqueness. It fits with the 8th Grade Smarts. So Lane Phillips, Suzanne Phillips, take it away and talk a bit about this Envision platform that the Lord is giving you.
Okay, awesome. Lane, do you want to start with just the overview of what Envision Life Academy is?
Yeah, sure. Envision Life Academy offers a comprehensive career and college planning program for high school students. And the purpose is for students to help identify what their gifts, talents, and passions are, with the goal of helping them determine what would be a best fit college or career for them. If that career requires a college, then we're going to help them walk through their high school years and help them identify their right fit college, get into that right fit college, and get in and out in 4 years with as little debt as possible.
Whoa, 4 years with as little debt as possible.
Right.
How many parents got excited at that possibility?
Right. Yeah. Well, it's funny, Kathy, because on average now it takes a student 6 years to get a 4-year degree. Mm-hmm. And those, as you know, those extra 2 years in tuition are expensive, but it's also lost income in the form of a salary. So those extra 2 years, if a student starts, college without really having a plan, those extra 2 years can turn into, you know, $100,000 mistake.
And let me say too, before we hear from Suzanne, that I also think it affects their whole mental health the whole rest of their lives. They're thinking, man, it took me 6 years. Not only do they have debt hanging over their head, but they potentially have in their spirit this self-doubt. You know, will I be able to accomplish anything? And I don't know if you want people to know that the dropout rate from college today in America, 55% of the kids who go don't finish even after 5 years.
Right.
55% of the kids. And that's because they go in aimless,
Yeah.
and they go in and they still game in their dorm room, or they flit from this course load to that course load, and they're just so unsure of themselves. So you have a real gift.
Yeah, and that debt that they accumulate in those years, just because they didn't get a degree, doesn't go away.
Right.
You know, they're still handcuffed by that, even though they don't have a degree.
Yeah.
I think one of the things that has been so important to us, just as parenting, but also in helping a lot of students over the years, to begin with the end in mind. And when you begin something without any idea and aimlessly, you know, it's very difficult to finish because you don't even know what the aim is. And so while the student at 16 or 18 might not know the detail of what career they're going to have, they definitely can identify what's in their heart, what they're passionate about, what they enjoy doing, and get at least started in an area in a field that might take some no details. But many just need to kind of have an area to know, oh, wow, this really fits. Let me start and kind of see where I branch out from there.
I love that. And I love the phrase right fit college. What a great adjective. Right fit career, right fit college. And I know that one of your colleagues is going to be showing us a sample here in a little bit of what this is all about. I love that they get to fill in boxes about where do they want their college to be? Do they want a marching band? Do they want fraternity? Do they want big city rural? Do they want, do they want NCAA Division I football? Everything from, majors to all these other things that make the college experience really the life that it can be. I love that. I love the map, as you know, the heat map. I love that. I love how specific. I also love that as they begin the process, which is a self-directed, sit in front of a laptop process, they get to indicate 3 possible careers they might be leaning toward. And they work the program with that in mind, rather than saying you have to already know, English teaching or engineering. So there's freedom even at the beginning that's going to help them, I think, land in some directed space, which is really cool.
Absolutely. And I think we should mention that while it is self-directed and they are answering questions and going through assessments, there are coaches that are available to them many, many hours out of the day, kind of not around the clock, but often. And they can reach out to those coaches to do further investigation in a specific area about a specific school. Maybe they want to try out for audition for something musically. They can talk to the coaches about what that process is in those specific schools. So it is customized, and we're going to show you a little bit of that in a minute. But the coaching, the human relationship of coaches that are qualified, certified as college coaches and have experienced many, many campuses across our nation. That is just a huge, I think, tool, not just for the student, but for the parents to feel secure in the fact that they're getting, this is a strange time we're living in. And so to have experts that are able to answer individual questions, I think is just, it's so critical. Most schools can't do that. They have too many students.
Yeah, let me say that I'm a fan of that. If you didn't have the coach, I might not be as much a fan as I am of the Envision platform, because they can reach out and they get assigned a coach, and that coach gets to know them and keeps their eyes open and all that. And yeah, guidance counselors nowadays in our public schools don't have time for this. And a lot of Christian schools, unfortunately, may not have them, or the guidance counselor type position in a Christian school might have a limited knowledge of colleges in a region. And then, of course, we're fans of homeschooling, and many of the homeschool parents are only listening to other homeschool parents who graduated a kid a year ahead of them, and, oh, you went there, and was it good? And no, this is great. And the other thing that's really cool about this program, it's not just that they get a coach as a part of the Envision platform, but the parent is still able to get involved. Suzanne or Lane, talk to us about how passionate the 3 of us are about the role the parents can play in this Envision platform that they can subscribe to.
Yeah, this is great. And we're going to show you a little bit of this in the demo as well. But what I love about this is just the relational equity that this offers, because there is a point that one of the benefits here is your students are beginning to transition, the transition to what we like to call the launch. I mean, train a child in the way they're going to go, they are going to go somewhere. And so the fact that they can start this process and allow the student to take personal responsibility and ownership of the process. But there's a parent portal as well. And the parents can go in and watch the progress of the student. They have access to the coach and they can ask their questions without nagging. And it's such a big deal when your student starts to get into this phase of their life. They're about to not necessarily be under your roof, and they need to practice having that interaction, being able to express themselves, being able to feel free to say, this is really what's on my heart, not what's on mom and dad's heart for me. They need to learn to practice that. Mom and dad, though, are typically involved in paying for it, and it's a family decision. And I don't think people think about that as much as maybe they should, that we all have pieces. So a right fit for a student that says, I've always wanted to go to Harvard, I know it's my spot, but mom and dad are paying for it, and they say it's not a right fit for our wallet, then it's not a right fit school for you. Yeah. And so I love the fact that the students have personal access, but the parents can be engaged and kind of in the background, stepping when needed, but they can follow along without having to feel like they need to be the expert when we're really not.
Exactly. Parents don't have time today to know it all. And so they can lead at times, they follow at times. There's not nagging, there's not hovering. It's easier for the young people to say, hey, Dad, can I have your opinion about this? Because dad is aware of what the kid is involved in. I just think it makes all the sense in the world. Are we ready for the demo?
I think we
so,
are.
yeah.
Let's do it. I'm excited.
So I'm going to bring in Kelly. She is one of our lead coaches, and she's been with us for probably 10 years. All of our coaches are accredited by the National College Planning Association. So they're highly skilled and they know their stuff. And Kelly is the best of the best. So I'm going to bring her in right now.
Hey, Kelly.
Hey, Kelly.
Hello.
Hi, Kelly. Thanks for joining us today.
Good.
So Kelly, we've just been talking about a little bit of an overview of Envision and the platform and the services. And I think what we would like to see first is the student epic, and show us a little bit about the heat map and how that works and how it's customizable. And also give us a little bit of an overview of just, high level overview of the MyFit scoring system.
Okay. Yeah, not a problem. Can certainly do that. Let's see here. Let's share my screen real quick.
There it comes.
There we go. Can you all see that?
Yes. I can't wait for people to see this.
All right. So I've already logged in. I'm logged in as a student right now. So this is the landing page when you first log in. It's the heat map. So one of the things that we really wanted to accomplish with this was that students come in at different times, whether they finally get around to deciding to think about college, early on or later on, or just at different times they start really working on it. So this heat map, the way we designed it is that it actually kind of evolves or adapts based on their grade year and the time of year. So each of these little boxes here are different steps to complete, and each box is given a level of importance. So it's given, most important red and kind of got on down the line. This student, I believe, is actually a sophomore. I think the student that the account that I have pulled up. So it's broken down into categories of different things that they'll need to be focusing on, majors and careers, choosing colleges. And this is actually, all of these boxes and categories are completely customizable. So if there was a different set of goals that needed to be achieved or anything like that, those could be programmed in the back end and then have its own kind of proprietary heat map, and it's also customizable on the student level. So if a coach is working with a student and they're, really interested in theater or sports or anything like that, or if there's just specific steps that they need to complete soon, a coach can either add some pre-made bricks that relate to something that the student needs to do, or they can actually add a completely free form brick themselves that just kind of has some follow-up steps that the student needs to complete. So it's really customizable, and we really wanted it to be that the students could jump in and see kind of the roadmap, the most important things that they need to do, but also still be able to kind of work around in different areas, depending on what they're really wanting to do, if they want to access different resources. And we didn't want to make it super linear or just funneling them down a checklist and forcing them if it wasn't really where they were at, or they were interested in something else. So I think it's pretty powerful that we can customize it on the individual level, and then for an entire group as well. Those are easy to put together on the back end.
Yeah, that's great, Kelly. Kathy, you have any questions about that, or?
No, I love this. I love the color coding. I love the vertical and the horizontal. It's, if the kid's in the mood to do the study tips, she can do the study tips. If she's not in the mood,
Right.
skip it and do something else. I love the check marks, the complete dates. We all want to know, am I making progress? So I think that's fabulous.
Right. And each of them, you can click on them and they have videos, or they may have an article, or it may take you to a different part in the area in the website, like to complete an assessment or something like that. Or there just may be some instructions on what you should be working on. But the content within each of the steps is also something that we can configure very easily on the back end as well. So
I guess, Kelly, I would ask so you said the student that you brought up, you think is maybe a sophomore in high school.
I believe.
So there's a lot for this child to do all the way through the senior year in high school. Does the heat map change, or is that later on in the program?
It changes on a quarterly basis. So this will be this student's heat map for a few months, and then it automatically promotes once the new quarter happens. So we have like a master spreadsheet plan with everything and the way the heat of each of the bricks progresses. Some bricks drop off completely because they're just no longer relevant. Some of them are added at different times. So yeah, this is kind of their short term, what they should be focusing on. And it does retain, when it was completed. So if there is a brick that's really important for, the first semester of your senior year, like applying to colleges, that one will stay on there obviously until it's you're kind of done with that season. So, but yes, it does change automatically, and then it will change, like I said, if they work with a student or with a coach, or if there's something particular that student needs to have added.
And Kathy, we talked last time when we were sort of showing you this, that there may be a student that determines a career and isn't sure that they want to go to college, or isn't sure that they're ready for that. So in terms of something that can be customized, you could put an entire column in on research this career, research gap years, research. You can add those things as you go. Is a 2-year a degree enough, or do I need 4 years? All of that research can be added in as one of those customizable blocks, or ROTC, or sports, like Kelly mentioned. But just because these are here doesn't mean that's what every student is going to do. There are ways to sort of say, we might go in a different direction, but let's have a plan and an order and an organized way to do so.
I appreciate you mentioning that, because so many of followers of Celebrate Kids are not necessarily putting their children in a 4-year college. They're doing other things. I love that idea. And I love that there's a plan. I told the students I was with a week ago, even a gap year needs to be planned.
Right.
A gap year is not a little bit more gaming and binge watching your favorite show and twiddling your thumbs. No, a gap year is supposed to be purposeful to the call upon your life. So I'm so glad you mentioned it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's great. Maybe you could jump over to, or just real briefly at the bottom, just the chat. That's how,
Right.
At any point, at any time, on any screen, if a student or parent has a question, they hit the chat button, and a live coach is right there to answer any of their questions. So I just wanted to point that little feature out to you. Why don't you show us the college search and the MyFit real quick?
Okay. Well, the college search is kind of, one of your tools that students might use if they just kind of want to play with some different things to see what comes up. They can look at different areas of the country, different size schools. It also has in here, obviously, majors that you might want to look at. And then the social aspect with the extracurriculars and things like that. So it really is a pretty in-depth search tool. And if a student already knows what they're looking for, they can certainly do that here. That's not a problem. They can type in the name of a school and add it to their list. So this one's pretty standard, in-depth, but pretty standard. Our unique feature is definitely going to be the MyFit list. The MyFit is something that we designed to be kind of like the dating app for colleges in a way. So what it does is it takes information from the student's profile, the majors that they've put down, different preferences that they have on their student profile in terms of what they're looking for, their GPA, if they've added it. And what it does is it actually runs it through the MyFit engine, so to speak, and it shoots out a score that's given to every school in our database. So, 3,000 plus colleges. And the MyFit list in particular is going to show kind of the students' top colleges based on that algorithm that's made up of, like I said, those different data points on their student profile. So this is kind of what this student's list looks like. And it's really our way of suggesting some options or expanding students' options. A lot of times students maybe don't know many colleges, haven't been exposed to many. So this is our way of kind of giving them some options to explore and kind of replacing what we used to do, which was like a starting list, which was very static. It was just a one-time list, and students change their mind. They have different preferences as they go through high school. So we really wanted to make it so this is dynamic, so that anytime they update something on their student profile, this list will instantly change.
Yes. So this is proprietary. The MyFit is proprietary to the Envision platform. Students aren't going to find this anywhere else.
Right.
And so, like she said, as students progress through high school and they update their status, like I've taken APs, or I've taken, here's my GPA's changed, or, any of those factors change, it automatically will update. It'll rescore every single college, four-year college in the system. And then if they have more questions, of course, they can click on the college and drill down to those specific schools as they start to, as they move closer to their senior year or junior year when they start applying. And then they'll, develop that list that they're going to apply to.
Right. And if a student likes a school on their MyFit list, all they have to do is, hit that little star button, and it actually puts it into their My College list. So this is where we want them to actually keep track of the ones that they're really thinking about, and not just, the ones that appear on their MyFit list. So they still have the freedom to do a free form search in the college search, and then they have some suggestions as well through the MyFit.
I want to say too, I really like the round circles at the bottom, the social, majors, academic, and financial, that the system really scores or judges all of that, because all of that is relevant to a post-high school experience. And so I love that.
And it does, when the score changes, the rings will not be as closed.
Yeah, so I think that's super helpful. I would worry if I was a parent and my kid was, only interested in the social, like I only want the red ring. And yet I would say that, for some kids, it'll be the social life that keeps them in college.
Right.
Yeah.
So I love, Lane, that your right fit includes all of the real things that go on in college.
Yeah, Kelly was very instrumental in developing this.
Amazing.
With her years of experience of helping students, and so she's. I think the team's done a great job of capturing what students need and are looking for.
Right. Right.
Oh,
Thank
wow.
you.
Are there any other,
I think we should just show, if there are no other questions there, maybe just a really quick overview of the parent portal so the parents can see how they can sort of keep track and see. And then we can
Sure, I will do that.
do it.
So good.
So the parent side, we definitely wanted parents to be able to be involved in the process and be informed, but their platform doesn't necessarily need to be identical to the students. So it's more of an ability that they'll have to check what's going on, still get the messages that their students are getting, and still interact with some of the features as well. So when they first log in, if they have multiple students, there would be multiple rows. And this whole section right here is kind of the same idea as those rings on the MyFit. It's basically just a snapshot of the steps that they've completed in the different heat map categories. So, at that point in time, it's like, wait, if you see, 0 in testing and it's a junior, it's like, wait a second, why haven't you been working on testing? But when you open the student's profile, this is where you can get really a good idea of what they're doing or what they've been doing. So it's going to show you the next most important steps from each of the heat map categories over here, how many times they've logged in, average session, and then chats and messages that the student has sent or interacted with the coaching team. So they would be able to kind of see, okay, why haven't you been spending more time on, on this, or, it just really is a nice little overview of what's going on. They do have a full view of the heat map at any point in time. As that evolves, they'll see it as well. They'll be able to see the completion status of every step and view all the information too. Same with messages. They get every single message, that their student's going to receive. So they would be able to view that. And then careers, of course, if a student has added, or been exploring careers, they can say, oh, well, you're thinking about musician now, or, whatever the case may be. They'll be able to see what the students added, or if they hadn't added any, it would say your student has not, added any careers yet. So they can know that as well. And then their college list. So if a student has actually started adding colleges, they'll be able to see those on here also. The difference is that the parent can't really add any colleges. That is something that's only driven by the student side, but our hope is that parents will work with students, and they can kind of collaborate and not necessarily do it themselves for the student. Good training for college, I guess.
Yeah.
And then they also have, I know I didn't touch on this on the student side, but they also have access to our articles and videos. So any different videos or topics that they're interested in and they want to learn more about, they can definitely come and look at those and watch anything they want, read about anything they want. And then they also have a chat archived as well from their chats with coaches.
and then again, I just want to point out down in the bottom right-hand corner, they also have access to chat with coaches if they need to.
Yep. And they do even have a few videos on here that, it's geared towards parents, how to support your student through the application process. So there's a few of those that they can get a lot of information from.
Awesome.
That's great, Kelly.
I almost wish I was a parent of a kid in the right age. So that it looks like it's so much fun to rediscover things.
It's a great tool. It really is.
Right. And it's a lot easier for coaches to use as well. We can get things done a lot faster than we used to. So it's helpful on both ends.
That's great.
Awesome.
Well, thank you, Kelly, so much.
Thanks, Kelly.
Very good, Kathy. Okay. Great.
Boy,
Thanks.
All right.
Thanks, Kelly.
Bye.
Take care.
decision making isn't easy.
No.
And when you're overwhelmed and anxious and you've maybe been shamed by someone, it's even more difficult. I love how objective your system is, and then how personal it is with a coach who gets to know you perhaps, and the parental component there. What a dream. So it's called the Envision platform. I love it for decision making. I love it for the individualization. Like if you had 2 or 3 kids, be totally different, which is so much fun. I love that it can maintain a relationship in a family when sometimes
Yeah.
You know, all it is. And are you going to ask me about that again?
Right.
That's exactly
So,
right.
you know, well done, you guys. Well done.
Thank you. Thank you. We're very excited about it, and we think it really equips the child for decision making, and it's good stewardship in terms of, you know, just really having a plan and knowing what you're doing and being able to not just give an answer, but really make a decision. And so we value it, and we've had 3 kids, and they're all very different. And
Yeah.
I mean, we've lived this 3 times.
Do you guys remember, Lane, do you remember how much I said it was worth? When we walked through it with Kelly a while back so that I could understand it more fully, and you showed me the heat map and the color-coded boxes and all the categories. Do you remember what I said?
I don't remember specifically.
I said, that's worth $2,000. What do you charge?
Yeah.
And I thought you both were going to like fall out of your chairs.
Yeah.
I think, because I know parents who are spending fortunes
Thousands and
trying to figure things out. So I know that the bottom line for our listeners is there a long-term contract I'll never get out of? What's it really cost, et cetera, et cetera. So as we begin to wrap this up, share whatever else the two of you want to share.
First of all, I just want to say that was a really high level overview of our system. We offer a whole lot more than that. We have essay review. We help with the FAFSA applications, the financial forms. We will help you literally in all aspects of the college and career planning process. We just gave you a high overview today. But the program it's only $49 a month. There is no contract. You sign up and you're in the program for as little or as long as you would like, for however it fits your family. You get as much of it, you know, all of it at once. It's the whole program is available to you starting day one. And if you cancel a month later, that's fine. If that's all, if that's what served your family, we're there for you. If you just go to Envision Life Academy.
It's $49 for up to 2 students.
Yeah, up to 2
Up to 2
students.
students. So
Whoa, that's generous.
Yeah, 2 students in the same family, if they're in high school at the same time. So for up to 2 students,
That's a
it's
great point,
$49
Suzanne. Really
a
good
month.
point.
So that is, I mean, to me, that's almost unheard of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you just go to envisionlifeacademy.com, there's more information on the program. And if they want to go further and they want to sign up, use the promo code CELEBRATE and you'll get 20% off of your first month subscription.
That's a great deal. I appreciate that. So envisionlifeacademy.com. Read about it, explore it, maybe sit down with the kid and say to your Joshua's and Jennifer's, hey, does this look like something that would meet your needs? You seem so frustrated. And then buy into the program. I would say even if they say no, it doesn't mean you don't do it, but buy-in is always something beneficial. But I appreciate that. Celebrate as a promo code gets them 20% off the first month. What a deal.
Yeah.
We'd be foolish to not do that just to explore it more ourselves.
Sure.
That's great.
Well, I really appreciate your time today, Kathy. And
thank you so much.
Well, I want young people to land well. I want them to know who they are and why they are who they are, and that they were created for more than school. And life matters greatly. And landing is something that we all want for our kids to do so they can eventually fly. So I'm happy to introduce people to both of you, Lane and Suzanne Phillips, and the Envision Life Academy and the Envision platform. So let's pray that a lot of people click through. No pressure. We're not going to hound you if you we're not going to write you later. Why didn't you finish your purchase? But let's do it. All right. Thanks everybody for watching. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Talk to you soon.